The 12th episode of United Talk, ladies and gentlemen. We just had a game against Southampton last night, and several interesting transfers and matches going on around the world as well. And we've got all that covered and more. So let's start off with the Southampton game. Annie, your thoughts?
Hey guys, well, what can I say? I think the best thing that can be said about that performance from United is that it got us the 3 points needed in the title run-in. And I thought Sir Alex warned before the game that we shouldn't be complacent against the so-called minnows of the league. It cost us last season against Wigan in the run-in, and I thought for certain periods of the game we looked like we were going to make the same mistake. But maybe that is taking some credit away from Southampton, who I thought were excellent, especially in the second half. They really grew into the game and they made a real match of it. They had more shots off target than us, more shots on target. And in the end, we were just hanging on to 3 points. The Old Trafford pitch was heavily watered before the game due to the rain in Manchester and did not suit our style of football at all. We were unable to get going. We looked stop-start at times. And 2 goals from Rooney, of course. And in the end, again, Evra proving a threat from set piece. But 3 points are what is needed at this stage of the season, and I'm happy with that, even though the performance can definitely improve.
Yeah, I think you're pretty much right in everything you said. The pitch was in poor condition, and especially now that we play more of a Barcelona-style free-flowing attack, wherein we have short 1-2 yard passes to set someone off on the long run. And I think these passes are pretty difficult to play when the pitch is in that poor of a condition. But you're right, credit to Southampton. They played extremely well, I thought, in the second half particularly, where they really gave us a run for our money. And unlucky not to get at least a draw Southampton. I thought they really deserved to get more than what they got from the game.
Yeah.
Players like Ricky Lambert, Jason Punchin, I think Davis coming on as well. All really good players, and they played really well yesterday, I thought. Unlucky for them. But credit...
I think you'll see the impact of the new manager already on Southampton. Maybe it's a new manager syndrome, maybe it's the tactics that are working, but their last results have been largely positive. I thought they deserved to get a win against Everton perhaps, in the 0-0 draw. And again, yesterday, as you said, deserving a point.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you're right about the new manager. He's introduced somewhat of a new tactic system. Whereas I remember playing last time out against United at St. Mary's when Nigel Atkins was in charge. They played with a 4-3-3, wherein with a deep lying central midfielder and a lone striker in Ricky Lambert. But this time around, they switched things up and have 3 flat central midfielders, along with Rodriguez and Punchin supporting Lambert. So I think all in all, the managers bring you some changes, and I was very impressed with Southampton. I think they played really well yesterday and nail-biter finish in the end.
Absolutely. I think Sir Alex saw that the game was drifting away from us and reacted to that, luckily with some smart moves. He brought on Rio Ferdinand, and then he brought on Rafael, switched Phil Jones into midfield to give some height to the team. And I thought, again, our defense was tested at times, but it is getting better. We were unfortunately conceded the first goal. David De Gea, I'm not sure what he's doing. Poor pass back from Michael Carrick.
Very poor pass.
You should be dealing with that, and he's jumped over the ball, and that's really poor. But again, a lot has been said on David De Gea, and a lot will continue to be said on the boy's temperament and whether he's adapted properly to English football, whether he's suited for United. But in the end, like you said, 3 points, that's what's important at this stage of the season.
Yeah, I think De Gea should have dealt better with the ball that came back. But, you know, Michael Carrick is an experienced midfielder who's been playing for so many years in the Premier League. And I think, you know, that kind of back pass just absolutely is not acceptable, especially at this level of play.
Yeah.
But I think credit to De Gea, he later, I think, made amends with a fantastic save from Ricky Lambert's free kick, which looked like it was going in at one point.
Yeah.
And all in all, I think United have done well to get 3 points. Norway finished, but credit to Wayne Rooney, scored 2 goals, all-round threat. Well done. And next match against Fulham, let's see what happens there.
Yeah, why don't you give me your top 3 players from that game?
My top 3 players, I have to give I thought the best player on the pitch was, in Manchester United at least, was Shinji Kagawa.
Yeah.
I thought after all that's been said about his coming in from Borussia Dortmund, where he's a fantastic player, held into 2 German championships, and then getting an injury that kept him out of the squad for some time, but now coming back and establishing himself as an integral part of this United team. I thought he was fantastic in the first half. A great assist for Rooney's goal as well. Yeah. And I think all-round performance filled with energy and you know, smart passing, and kept his team ticking.
Yeah.
For number 2, I'd have to go Wayne Rooney. A well-taken brace. Although, you know, the first finish was a good one. I thought the second one was pretty much difficult to miss, I'd say, from towards like a yard out.
Yeah.
But I think Rooney got the job done, got his side back into the game, and then scored what proved to be the winner in the 27th minute. Impressive all-round performance from him. And for my third player, I was a bit conflicted between Patrice Evra and Nemanja Vidic. I thought they were both absolutely solid at the back, and I think Evra's improvement this season has been off the charts. And to think that Evra was considered to be one of the weakest links of United last season, but this season has really proven himself. I think that added competition from Alexander Butner has really forced Evra to pick his game up.
The signing of Alex Butner has made a definite improvement in our team, not because he's come into the team, because of Evra's form has gone up.
You're right, yes, and I think, I thought Vidic had a great game as well. First to every ball, lots of good headed clearances.
Lots of crucial blocks.
Exactly, yeah, and a good, performance that we've come to expect from Nemanja Vidic.
Yeah.
Pre-injury Nemanja Vidic, that is.
Yeah.
What about you, Annie? Your top three?
I have to agree with you with Kagawa and Rooney. I thought Kagawa, as you said, incisive passing, kept the ball moving along, and his technique was definitely there to see. Rooney, as you said, well taken brace, and in the end scored one with the winner. For my third player, I think, although I agree with you, Vidic was outstanding, I think I'd have to give it to Phil Jones. I thought he made some good runs.
Also, yes.
He was playing a right back in the first half, was a free kick which led to the goal, led to Rooney's goal. And in the second half, moved into midfield seamlessly, and a lot of crucial headers. He chased the ball.
Settled very well, yes.
And I'm really happy how he's come back from injury and settling back into the team.
Definitely, I think Phil Jones's versatility has really been an asset to Sir Alex this season. Whereas last season it was more of a where to play him type question. Yeah. This season is where not to play him, because he's been excellent in every role he's been given this season.
Well, moving on to the rest of the league action, a lot of other games last night as well and the night before. First off, starting off the Emirates, Arsenal versus Liverpool. What did you make of that game?
A little bit of a crunch tie, I'd say. Both teams were on sort of weak runs of form. Both teams have had the ups and downs this season, and both teams are perennial contenders for, if not for the title, then at least for a Champions League spot. And I think a win for either team would have really helped them in their top four hopes. Unfortunately, the game ended 2-2. When I say unfortunately, I mean for both teams, as this wasn't the result either team wanted. Liverpool scoring early on from via Luis Suarez, who has been superb this season, 17 goals in the league already.
Yeah.
And they scored a second as well, but then Arsenal roared back in the second half. I think when all looked lost, Arsenal really came back. First of all, Olivier Giroud and Theo Walcott equalising, and Walcott showing once again why he's considered to be one of Arsenal's best players this season. Digging his team out from another hole, and I thought...
Absolutely, but I think, again, I have to say, I'm so disappointed with Arsenal in the first half.
Oh, absolutely shocking.
Awful at times, and I mean, the second goal, they made Jordan Henderson look like Leo Messi.
Yeah, and it was
Henderson we're talking about.
Terrible defending.
First goal, Asanya slipped. I don't know what Tommy Vermaelen was doing in the far post when the ball came in from Glenn Johnson, made an absolute hash of the clearance, and Suarez then, taps home, and honestly,
easy goal, yeah.
Second half, you expect Arsenal and the Emirates to come back. Even though Liverpool are 2-0 up, I expected some sort of response from Arsenal. Credit to them, they did give a fight. Giroud scoring a fantastic header, then Walcott smashing one home. He's been terrific this season. I think a real contender for player of the year.
Absolutely.
But unable to find the winner, and Liverpool would have wanted to win because they would have drawn level points with Arsenal, but unable to do so. Still 3 points behind, and Arsenal once again just short on confidence, always falling short on expectations, and starting matches very slowly.
Yeah, I think another disappointing season for us, and it's still mind-boggling how they haven't made any moves in the transfer market, aside from tying up Theo Walcott to a long-term contract, which I think was probably one of the good decisions that Wenger has made this season. But all in all, very disappointing, especially the first half from Arsenal. The defense was all at sea. Yeah. Didn't know what was going on ahead of them, behind them.
As well had a poor game.
Very poor game.
Corners and did not conquer, and Podolski had to clear off the line from a one-agger header.
Disappointing stuff, yes. And I think Liverpool should feel disappointed from their point of view as well. I think going 2-0 up, and I think they should have seen the game out. But then credit to Arsenal, they roared back, and 2-2.
Well, another game that finished 2-2, Reading versus Chelsea at the Majeski Stadium. Chelsea once again throwing away a 2-0 lead. What did you make of that game?
Incredible game, I thought. Chelsea comfortably leading 2-0. Well, I wouldn't say comfortably. The first half was rather drab affair. I think both teams playing 5 players in midfield. Yeah. So lots of congestion there, lots of hard tackles, nobody really making any headway. But Chelsea scored through Juan Mata, and then Juan Mata swung in a corner from which Frank Lampard scored. His 9th goal of the season, by the way. No idea why they haven't tied him up to a contract yet.
And 196 goals for Chelsea now is just 6 short of the club record. Incredible.
Incredible. Just shocking stuff. I have no idea what Chelsea are thinking. But anyway, and as has happened many times this season, Reading coming back, and how. Adam Lafondre comes on as a substitute with 35 minutes to go, and he scores 2 goals in 3 minutes. And those were the 3 last minutes, and Chelsea looking absolutely shocked. They had no idea what was going on.
I think the problem with Chelsea, and this is the problem many Chelsea fans have with Rafa Benitez, this is inability to react to what's happening in the game. They were leading 2-0 at Stamford Bridge versus Southampton. Southampton were growing in confidence. They pulled 1 goal back, and he's unable to read the games, unable to make changes. We saw yesterday with United versus Southampton. Fergie saw that we were losing control. He brought on Rio Ferdinand to stabilize the defense. He brought on Raphael.
Yeah, push Phil Jones up to midfield, yes.
Yeah, and Rafa is unable to make these sort of substitutions. I don't know whether it's the squad that's letting him down, whether he's unable to just simply react to games. But once again, Chelsea throwing away 3 points, snatching a draw from the jaws of victory.
Yeah, I think it's a bit strange because if you look at it, substitutions are every manager's bread and butter. I mean, that's primarily why they're there, to make the right substitution. And I think, once again, starting with Torres as opposed to Demba Ba is just inexplicable. I have no idea why he's doing that, and I'm sure most Chelsea fans agree with me.
Yeah.
Demba Ba is in great form and has been all season, whereas Torres is in no form and has been all season. Scored against Brentford, but come on, it's Brentford. And I think, even though he did provide a lovely assist for Mata's goal, I still think Torres should not be starting at this point in Chelsea. Should be an impact sub at most.
Yeah.
Well, I think
another game in London, QPR versus City, 0-0 draw. FF City really missed Yaya Toure in that game and dropping 2 points. But QPR now 3 draws in a row, and Harry Redknapp was brought in for a series of wins, and he delivered a series of draws. What have you made of that?
Well, a series of draws is better than a series of morale-crunching losses, which is what they were going through before Redknapp came in.
Yeah.
And I think QPR did extremely well to draw with last season's champions. City are a good, strong, deep team, and I think even without Yaya Toure, they're still a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
But you're right, they are missing Yaya Toure. Of course, when your midfield linchpin disappears, it's hard to start dominating games like you're used to. And I think other players, their levels of play have dropped as well, because when Toure is on the pitch, they play because they know that Toure is on the pitch and he is able to control the game, thus causing his teammates to become better as well. But without him, the whole team is going through an alarming slump of form right now.
And I think also City are really lacking in width, and they sometimes struggle against teams that put 10 men behind the ball. And Scott Sinclair came on, and he is actually their biggest threat. But in the sense, Yaya Toure can somehow overcome that problem with his sheer pace, dynamism, and strength. He just burst through in the middle of the park and open teams up. But of course, they were missing him, and they missed the width as well against QPR. Really struggled to break them down. And as you said, QPR are happy with the point, especially against the champions.
Yeah, definitely. I think, City should consider this 2 points dropped absolutely. To be dropping points against the bottom team in the table is just, it's not what champions do.
Yeah, it was definitely a very average performance.
Exactly. If you want to win the championship, you have to beat the teams you're supposed to beat. And I think City have not been doing that this season. And once again, a 7-point gap opened up at the top of the table now.
Yeah.
Alright, moving on, we've got lots of actions from the rest of Europe as well. First off, Juventus losing the Italian Cup against Lazio. What happened there?
Oh yeah, well, late goal there from Sergio Floccari, was it, in the stoppage time. And Juventus losing 2-1 and 3-2 aggregate, and they're out of the Italian Cup. And a little bit of poor run of form. They drew 0-0 at home to Genoa, and the manager Antonio Conte was crying foul. He said a lot of bad decisions by the referee, but in the end actually masking another poor performance from Juventus. They're really struggling, especially in the goal scoring department. I think the problem is they've obviously missed Andrea Pirlo in the last few games. Pogba filled in well for them against Udinese, but unable to do so against Genoa. And they didn't have a single shot on target in the first half against Genoa. And in the end, I think they've signed Nicolas Anelka now to perhaps stopgap that problem when Llorente arrives. But they really need to sort this issue out before the Champions League restarts.
Yeah, I think Juventus, you're right about the slip of form they've had this in the last few games at least. And I think Conte doing what Ferguson has done so many times, especially when his team have not played well, blaming the referee and masking what has been a problematic evening for United several times, including that 1-1 draw against Spurs where he kept on blaming the referee for not giving the foul, a penalty to United. Masking the performance, of course, and I think managers, I wouldn't say it's the right thing to do, but they do what they do to protect their players from unreasonable scrutiny from the press. And I think late goal from Sergio Floccari for against Juventus, after Juventus had equalized late on as well through Arturo Vidal. But they're out of the cup now, and I think Juventus need to buck up and buck up soon. I mean, they're still on top in the Serie A, but it's only because other teams have been dropping points as well.
Well, more action in the cup this time, the Spanish Cup, and the El Clasico, of course, last night finishing 1-1. What did you make of that massive game?
I remember us talking in the previous episode about how Barcelona and Real Madrid will play 3 times in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And about us talking about how Real Madrid have a tough series of games coming up. But credit to Real Madrid, they had several suspensions. Angel Di Maria and Sergio Ramos, Fabio Contrao, these players were unavailable. And teenager Rafael Varane filled in for Sergio Ramos, and he scored what proved to be the equalizer after Cesc Fabregas had put Barcelona ahead. Yeah. I think this Clasico was like most Clasicos have been in the past, especially in the Mourinho, Pep Guardiola, Tito Villanova era, where Barcelona had been dominating possession. They was at 69% possession in the first half, and Real sitting back and looking to play on the counter. Through the pace of Ronaldo and the technique of Mesut Ozil, I think Karim Benzema had a pretty poor game. I thought he had several chances in which he could at least test the keeper, but he hit the side netting a couple of times, blasted it over a couple of times, and all in all, I think Ronaldo also, I don't think he had that good a game. An early free kick that tested Pinto, but apart from that, he was pretty anonymous.
Yeah.
But credit to Rafael Varane, I was very, very impressed with the teenager. He's a bright young player, French international. And I think he was super at both ends of the pitch. I think really containing Messi, one or two absolutely...
He saved the goal as well and scored one.
Yeah, just stupendous tackling, I think, from Varane. Really showing the kind of awareness that you often only see with elder players, older players of like 30, 32. But all in all, I think a decent Clasico, I thought. Real end-to-end stuff from time to time. Lots of challenges, lots of harsh words spoken, yellow cards. And I'm looking forward to the second leg. I think both teams have it all to play for.
Yeah.
What about you? What do you think?
Everything that I wanted to say as well regarding the match, but I also say that it was interesting to see Madrid from a United fans' point of view, since we're going to play them in a couple of weeks. And Diego Lopez, starting in goal for Real Madrid, and he looked a bit shaky. Of course, not the commanding presence of Casillas. And of course, it's be interesting to see whether Varane starts against Man United.
Probably not, though.
Ramos would be back. But as you said, he had an outstanding game, both ends of the pitch, and great header for the goal as well.
Yeah.
Hitting it down and low, and ball bouncing up and past window into the net. But I think Barca would still consider themselves favourites now. Going back to the Nou Camp, I thought they gave a commanding performance in the Bernabeu yesterday, and most probably will be looking to advance to the final.
Exactly, yes.
Well, moving on now to our ongoing special feature, which is the transfer window. And of course, a lot of wheelings and dealings in the last few days. The biggest of all coming up, Man City, Mario Balotelli out on his way back, and now of course signing for AC Milan in Italy. What did you make of that move?
Well, what has been said about Balotelli that we can't say anymore. So much controversy surrounding him. Speculation every single day. Where is he going? Who's going to buy him? Yeah. His temperament, his wages, his this, his that. But in the end, he's signed for AC Milan. And I think, from AC Milan's point of view, it's a bit of a gamble. Balotelli is very temperamental, very inconsistent, very volatile. You have no idea what he's going to do next. He can score a hat-trick one game and then, injure himself the next one. Like to some stupidity, like a back heel or an attempted rainbow flick or something. But I think Milan at this stage of the season are desperate. I think they're running out of options. They've sold Pato to Corinthians.
Yeah.
And as such, they needed someone to shore up their attack.
Yeah.
And what I'm most interested in is that now AC Milan have gone from an old age retirement home where they had Inzaghi and Seedorf and Maldini and Pirlo to now sort of a kindergarten where they've got Mbaye Niang and Sharawi and now Balotelli, young players coming through and really becoming central points of Milan's attack.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how Balotelli turns up, which Balotelli turns up for every Milan game. He said he wants to be there. He said he's always wanted to play for Milan. So now's your chance, Mario.
Yeah, I think in the end, we'll be discussing Mario slightly later in the show as well, but in the end, Balotelli, I think the management and Man City and Mancini in particular running out of patience with him and realizing that he was more trouble than he was worth. I think they've done really well to get the amount of money they have.
Yeah, 20 billion.
Yeah, that's a really good deal for Man City.
Great deal.
As you said, Milan taking a gamble on the fact that he's always going to play for Milan, that maybe he'd settle down once he comes back home to Italy. And in the end, you have to say perhaps a good deal for both parties. I think it never really worked out for Mario in England. He will be missed.
Yeah, sorely be missed. Moving on, Liverpool have signed Felipe Coutinho from Inter Milan.
Yeah.
And what's that all about?
Well, 8.5 million and 20-year-old midfielder from Inter Milan, and he came in and immediately started making great noises about the club's history and how he's always wanted to play for them. It seems to be a usual thing with Liverpool signings these days. Sturridge came in and called them a humongous club just days before they were going to lose to Oldham FC. So, but he's an exciting young prospect, I have to say. What have you made of him in the time that you've seen?
Oh yeah, Felipe Coutinho has been played a season and a half of regular first team football for Inter Milan. He's young, he's fast, he can beat his man one-on-one. He's got decent enough vision for a young player, and he's got a goal in him now and then. I think Brendan Rodgers has been really impressed with what he's seen of Coutinho, and I think 8.5 million isn't a lot of money in today's transfer market. But if you look at Coutinho, he's still not a proven player, not a player you can build your team around, or not a player who's shown that he can be one of the key pieces of your team. Yeah. So I think another gamble from Liverpool, but if you look at how Daniel Sturridge has adapted to Liverpool, playing extremely well, scoring goals from the get-go, I think if Coutinho can start doing that as well, I think he'd be a great signing for Liverpool.
Yeah. I think it's another signing in the Brendan Rodgers philosophy. He wants to sign some young, exciting players and sort of mold them into the team and get them playing a certain type of philosophy. And that you need to sign young players who have talent and who already not being biased to a certain type of football. And Coutinho fits that profile.
Perfectly, yes. All right, then we also had another development in the Lewis Holtby transfer saga, and now he's officially signed for Spurs.
Yeah.
For 1.5 million, and what's the deal there?
Well, he was going to sign this summer on a free, but they brought the transfer forward and, as you said, paid 1.5 million for him. And I think Spurs are really keen to get their man, and he's a very good player, of course. It will be English name due to the fact that he has an English father, but he's German international. And exciting prospect for Tottenham. I don't know how much of an impact he's going to make on their season now, but definitely one for the future, I would say. Yeah,
definitely captain of the German international under-21 team, and he's been making great noises, great players at Schalke. And I think Schalke, as opposed to losing him for a free in the summer, just opted to let him go right now and pick up at least some cash.
Yeah.
So they've got 1.5 mil for him, and good luck to Holtby in Spurs.
Absolutely. Well, lastly, Didier Drogba moving to Galatasaray, or has he? Not really sure on the latest status on that one, because Shanghai Shenhua said they would be challenging the transfer.
Well, Galatasaray's owner tweeted that they have gotten Drogba, and the Turkish Stock Exchange has also reported that Drogba has signed for Galatasaray. And yes, we all know how correct the Turkish Stock Exchange is from time to time. But yes, if he has signed for Galatasaray, and that's a big if he has signed, and if Shanghai Shenhua lose the case that they have against him, I think him and Schneider could really link up and make noises in the Champions League. I think Galatasaray...
one of the primary reasons why, of course, he wanted to move out, his desire to play in the Champions League. And Shanghai Shenhua, of course, saying that although they understand that, he's still a player and he signed a contract and they should be challenging that with FIFA. So you have to feel for the clubs there. I mean, at this point, they are a small club to make their way in the Chinese league and increase the attractiveness of Chinese football. So they will not be happy with this. But we'll see how that develops. Though.
Yeah, I think if they've lost Drogba and they've lost Anelka as well, who's gone to Juventus, so now all the global appeal is dying away. Alright, then we've got our player salute, as we have every week, and Annie, would you like to do the honours?
I would indeed, and well, as we said earlier, talking about Mario Balotelli, and our player salute for this week is for him. Goodbye, Mario, you will be missed. Not just the performances on the field, I don't think I would miss that so much, but definitely the antics of it. Football 65 had it. Why always Milan? And whether it was the fireworks in the bathroom, the attempt to pay library fines at the University of Manchester, getting caught with tons of cash in his car and saying it's because I'm rich. Yeah, the stories go on. And in the end, though, as I said earlier, gave the sense that he was more trouble than he was worth. And I thought after the scuffle with Mancini, where he made a tackle of Scott Sinclair and those pictures that came up in the newspapers, I think Mancini realized that he had had enough. It was not worth the embarrassment to the club, to himself. and that's proven to be the last straw. But in the end, and in terms of what he did on the pitch, well, 20 goals for Man City in 54 appearances. Mancini saying it towards the end of last season he was not going to play for the club again after his performance was awesome, but he did. Who had the assist for Sergio Aguero's famous 94th minute winner against Queen's Park Rangers, and had a great Euro 2012 with Italy, especially in the semi-final where he really came alive against Germany, and people thought that he would bring that form back to England and really shine this season, but he didn't. He was really poor in the first half season. His last start came against Man United in the derby, in which he was substituted after 52 minutes.
That back heel
performance. But in the end, though, you have to say good luck to the kid. He's a really talented player, and he does have some issues, definitely. But can he resolve them at home? We shall wait and see.
Yeah, we shall indeed wait and see. I'm looking at some interesting facts that I have on Barclay. He's got picked up 4 red cards for Man City, and he hasn't missed a penalty for them.
Yeah, he's a great penalty taker.
Great penalty taker. He's signed for 25 million by City, and I think you're right. In the end, he was more trouble than he was worth. Alright, we've got Fulham away as our next game, and your predictions, Annie?
I think it's going to be a very difficult game. Actually, Fulham at Craven Cottage is a completely different beast to what they are away from home and what we face in the FA Cup. I think it'll be a very difficult game. The optimist in me would say maybe a 2-1 or a 3-1 victory, but I'm not so sure. I'm definitely hoping for that, but I would also say a draw is quite likely.
Yeah, I think you're right about Fulham being different at Craven Cottage. They're more self-assured. They've got their fans backing. I think Fulham have some amazing fans. But I think in the vein of form the United are in right now, despite defensive deficiencies, which have been shored up quite a bit since the beginning of the season, I think, depending on individual performances, I'd say United could probably sneak a win. I'd have to go for 2-1. 2-1 to United.
Alright, well, lastly guys, please get involved in our discussions. We would like your ideas, your comments, whether it's through Twitter, Facebook, or comments on our YouTube channel or YouTube videos. Thanks for watching so far, and see you guys next week.
See you guys.